because hey, friends out there, this is Thursday, October 28th, 2021. And it is just about close to 6 minutes past 5 in the morning here in Northern California. And as usual, I'll talk about a few different things today. You know, increasingly, I'd like the message I have to bring the world is a positive one, especially for those who need to hear positive things. And that would be those that are the downtrodden among us. And typically, those are the righteous people, the decent people that just want to live in peace and harmony and safety, security, and freedom and prosperity. They want those same things for themselves that they want for others. They're typically egalitarian types. And the world tends to subdue these people and render them second class citizens. That these people really, they don't have too much on the ball. They're typically losers, they're poor, they're basically, they are defective people. So, society, the way it is, as defined in worldly, secular, pagan terms, discriminates against a giant swath of the population. Those that want goodness, not just for themselves and their families, their close circle of people and friends, but they want that for everybody. They have seen the light and they know that in order for them to be happy, that others around them have to have the same opportunity to be happy. And what is happiness? Happiness is a broad, ambiguous term, and it's comprised of a lot of different facets. We can all write a gigantic list of all the things that are required to make us happy, because typically many things bug us, and it's important to decipher between the things that are across the board that bug us and those things that discriminate, are selective in the way they bug us. And I categorize these in two ways. One is organic, that's across the board. That's one identifier that everybody faces these organic problems, issues, dislikes, annoyances, things that bug us. Okay, and on the top of that list, it has to be death. I mean, death bugs me a lot, and it ought to bug you, any normal person. I mean, you say there's something very wrong with this picture. On one hand, all these people say there's this loving, almighty, omnipotent, uh, all competent, holy God. And then on the other hand, we say, well, you got to have to die. You see, there's something that doesn't jive here. There's something wrong with this picture. Death isn't necessary. That's very important for us all to understand. Okay, that look, you got to admit, I mean, just prima facie that this Almighty God that can lay out the universe and all the galaxies and all the solar systems and all the flora and the fauna, the light, give us our five senses. I mean, all the wonderment, the beauty. I mean, the artwork. How do we know something's beautiful when we look at the Caribbean? You know, a palm tree blowing in the wind, and we go, "Oh my God, that is just so inviting," and it just exudes just this sense of well-being and euphoria and bliss. Where did that? How do we know? What do we know? Well, we learned it because God implanted these instincts in us, godly instincts, to appreciate beauty, to appreciate cuteness, to appreciate love, that feeling of love. All the creatures have this. These are instinctual things that God imparted to us. It's a very beautiful thing because you know all the other animals vibrate to these same things too. They like love. All the animals, when they're nurturing their young, they're loving toward them. And the creatures, that's embedded. It's rote memory for these creatures. They all want to be loved. We need to be loved. So we need to be willing to love others, not selectively as the world does, but across the board. We need to empathize with everybody over just all those organic problems we have, all the diseases that we could come down with, anyone could come down with, all the accidents that can befall us, all the unpleasantries out there. I mean, look what, with Alec Baldwin in this accidental shooting. I mean, the detectives are going to check it out and see, well, was he having an affair with this woman and she threatened to talk about it to his wife? Or, I mean, I'm just saying, they're going to check out all the possible angles. I know. I watch enough of the real life detective shows to know they look under every stone possible. And they're pretty smart people, generally speaking. So, humans are generally very smart. We're smart. That's why we can be so deviant and cunning, screwed up, too. It's a double-edged sword. You can use it for good or bad. But, we should have a lot of empathy toward each other. We really should, just for all the organic issues we have. And there's so many of them, friends. I mean, think about it. All the annoyances. It's too bright. The sun hits you in the face and you feel like you got punched. It blinds you. It's very dangerous driving. Oh my God, I can't see. It caused an accident. It's awful and it hurts your eyes. It's harmful, causes cataracts. UV light. We got insects that can kill us. I think that kills more humans than any other predators out there for sure. And, the inclement weather, it's too hot, it's too cold. It's just, there's a lot of miserable organic things that are across the board. Like Scripture points out, the rain falls on the just and the unjust alike, and the sun shines on us too. And we need to try our best to emulate God when it comes to dealing with difficult people. For the righteous, those difficult people are the people of the world. Now, notice I didn't say just in the world, because we're all stuck in the world. We can't physically get off this ship of fools. We're stuck here, so we have to learn how to get comfortable with it, how to contend with it. And it's not through cowardice. It's not from shrinking away from controversial issues. Last week, I like everybody else, I could talk out of both sides of my mouth. It's called hypocrisy. But, on one hand, I talk about being nicer and sweeter and all this. And then I see myself and I think, gosh, the way I talk about the news reporters with lilting voices and I want to throw up on them. And, so I see hypocrisy even in me. I talk big, but I'm as human as everybody else. So when it comes to a statement Christ made like, love your enemy, you must do this. I mean, it's like, whoa, that's got to be a typo, right? I mean, we all know what that's crazy talk, right? But nevertheless, you see, this is how good God is. And we got to fundamentally understand that our way of thinking is miles apart, infinitely different from the way God thinks. This is typical. Like, look at the values of the world. Okay, people value materialism, money, namely, because that'll get you all the materialism. that prestige and status and all that crap, the power and control and all the accoutrements thereof that people love so much, they fall in love with it. It's intoxicating, so enticing and alluring and irresistible to so many people. And it's a trap. It's a trap. Okay? It really is. Because when you think about it, it's just not rational. It's delusional. Believing you can own anything is delusional. Everything's usership. We know that. From when we're little kids, we learn about death. Very young age. Little kids are smart. They know, wow, no more. I don't get to say bye to grandpa anymore. Or hi to grandpa. Hug him and be held by him. I mean, no, grandpa's dead, son. Dead. You get that. You understand, right? Gone. They don't exist anymore, basically, is what we're telling them. You see, how we look at death is critical. How we train our children and raise them to think about this thing we call death. We've got to, listen, it's so important to tap into the heart and mind of God. This death thing was never meant to exist. This God that laid out the universe and everything contained therein has the power over life and death. So the way Christ told it, death and sleep are one and the same. They're synonymous. That's all it is. That's all we're supposed to think of it as. That God can as easily and is willing and wanting and will give us new bodies, better, imperishable bodies, immortal bodies. Okay, he could do this easily at the drop of a hat, just like he did everything else. And he loves us. We're precious, priceless treasures. Each one of us individually are equally beloved. God's not an a-hole. So if you just think about a good parent, they don't play favorites. They love the stinkers as well as much as they love the the decent kids, the righteous kids, the obedient kids, the respectful kids, the kids that please them and honor them. They love them all the same. And that has to be our way of thinking too. We have to represent that. And we have to pass that along to others. As difficult as it is, that's the cross that the righteous have to pay, have to carry. But this separation is temporary. I mean, there has to be a point where it's final, okay, that the righteous no longer have to contend with the money-loving bullies, you understand, that are stuck in this ephemeral delusion of ownership, materialism. It's a snare to the soul. My dad, he was a smart guy. He was a poet. And he used to say all the time to me, he said, you know, a man is free in proportion to the number of things he can afford to leave alone. And it's one to chew on. You got to think about it. But, you know, the more I look at all the crap I've got, and I go through stuff once in a while, I go, oh, my God, I haven't used this in 10 freaking years. Why do I have it around? You understand? It's so stupid. You know what? We could, if we shared stuff and it was in circulation, anything you want, we don't have to ownership. Oh, man, that's my Nikon camera. I can't wait. Oh, I want to take 35 millimeter pictures again, you know, and nothing like the depth of, you know, real film, you know. Yeah, we all get it, you know. It's like, but, you know, will I ever do it? And this toy and that toy and, you know, this implement, that implement. It's like, why do I have this stuff if I'm not going to use it? I mean, it's a drag. It really is. It's like you're owned by your possessions. So we're owned by materialism. And it's not because people care. I mean, they worry, oh my God, you know, I have all this to lose. I'm worth all these millions or billions and I got all this stuff and who are my heirs and do they even like me? What am I going to do? Just give it all to charity? I mean, you know, their minds must reel and they must be tormented with all their crap. Because I think, God, you know, I want to get rid of a lot of this stuff. I have this paperwork and stuff. It's like, I got, you know, bank statements for 50 years or, you know, whatever it is. It's crazy. You know, you keep your tax records for God knows how long, you know, more than the 7 years we're supposed to. It's like, you could get flooded with just paperwork. It's crazy, man. But I don't want my kids, the less crap they got to go through if I pass tomorrow, the better off, right? I mean, I don't want to bog them down. I mean, I got so many little bits and pieces of hardware, just like the typical guy. I got boxes of hardware here, cans and bottles of it here and in boxes, and it's stored here and there, and I got tools here and there in the next place, and duplicate tools, and it's like, oh my God, tools that I haven't used and I got to get rid of somehow, either give them away or sell them, and makes you crazy, man. Too much stuff. But we, at the time when we're collecting the stuff, acquiring the stuff, we think, oh, how great